Hi, everyone. You're welcome to another episode of Let's Discuss. I'm sure everyone will be wondering, where did this man disappear to? Given I've not been around for 2 weeks, but I've been enjoying Let's Discuss like yourselves. We had a lot of wonderful people and a wonderful host. I'm sure we all enjoyed it. Today, we have a special guest, and I just want to launch into today's topic first because today's topic is really important. Today's topic is to address a very deep question that everybody carries. And that question might play in your mind in different ways. What am I here for? What's my unique purpose? What has God asked me to do? Those are, I think that question is the biggest questions we ask as human beings. We chase careers, achievement, relationships, even church activity, hoping those things would answer the question, but we're often left wondering, am I doing enough? Is this what I need to do? Am I on the right track? Today we'll be looking into that topic, and I have a very, I'm sure everyone would have seen a glamorous special guest today.
Mhm.
Mrs. Kemi Famlusi. I've known her for many years. She's a wonderful mother, friend, mentor, encourager, successful businesswoman, good Christian, and so many other things. Someone who, in my experience and my observation, has been able to do what a lot of us want to do, which is go out to the world, make a lot of achievements, be out there, and still maintain the Christian values. And I called her this, I sent a message to her this week that I can't think of anybody else that is best suited for this topic. So you're welcome so much thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank
Let's
you, my brother.
discuss.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. So um, I wanted to start on this topic. It's a question everybody ask. What is my unique purpose? Most times people are doing a lot of things, but they're not sure if it is the right thing they're supposed to do or is the wrong thing. And there's some people who believe they're doing the right thing, but they just feel that they haven't gotten to where they should get to. Just wanted to get your take on the topic so far. That what's your opinion? What's your take on the topic?
Mm. The topic of purpose is a very deep one. It's very, very vast. So once again, I'd like to say thank you so much for having me and for thinking of me for this very important topic. The topic of purpose. hmm, Finding purpose is very unique to every individual. I mean, for some people, their purposes in life are clearly cut out. For some people, it's not as clearly cut out. You would have to rely on the day by day guidance, you know, and this is very much clear in the part of every individual in life. I mean, for me, I wanted to I thought I knew what I wanted to do. So when I was young, I felt like, okay, I wanted to work in a bank for sure, but with computers, you know? So, but my dad had a different thing in mind. He wanted me to be an accountant, but I wasn't interested in that. And, but I think God have definitely, I don't think, I know that God had a different thing in mind for me, 100%. Because when I started off, as you know, we met at my IT job. You
Yeah,
were working there as in the finance area,
yeah.
and that was all I had in mind. All I wanted ever in my life was to ever be just a professional. I didn't think I was cut out for business. If anybody suggested business to me, I'd be like, no, that's not my. calling. That's not my purpose. But as I grew up, as I, matured, it became clear that that was another direction that God wanted me to go. So, um, as I said, I think the key thing to read is knowing that purpose sometimes is not set in stones. So we need to be flexible when we talk about purpose. And when I say flexible, I don't mean such that we don't have any direction. I just mean flexibility in terms of saying, God, wherever you lead me, however you want to lead. It says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, you will
Yeah.
hear a voice behind you saying, this
Yeah.
is the way, walk in it.
Yeah.
That scripture has been a very core scripture to me, in all of my years.
Mm.
It is so true. Purpose is not set in stones, is something that God wants each and every one of us to achieve, and it's very unique. What it looks like is very different for each individual. So
Okay.
for me, coming into business from IT background, being an IT professional,
Yeah.
and then starting up a business and being a businesswoman today, as I said, wasn't the purpose that I thought I wanted, or,
Mm.
or that I would ever have had.
Wow.
But I think there was something deeper
Mm.
that God wanted me to achieve there.
Okay.
So when they say marketplace champions, I think that's just the purpose that God wanted me to achieve, you
Wow.
know, to, in my own way, mentor the upcoming generation, the staff, to say, this is how things are done, this is how things should be done with integrity and in a Christian way.
Oh, thank you so much for that. It's really interesting what you've said about purpose at times is incremental, that at times it's been, and you've made some really important points. I'll touch on them very briefly because I would like some more clarification on some of those points. Just wanted to say hi to everyone. Hi, we have Professor Emeritus. Thank you, welcome. And we have someone who's joining us for the first time, Abayomi Oguni. We used to play they were my seniors in music then. When they were playing, we were in the children's church. And he's one of the people that's had profound impacts and developed my love for music. So you're welcome. Thanks for joining us, sir. Um, there's something about one thing you've said about purpose being incremental. A lot of people are stuck because they always say things like, I'm not sure if what I'm doing is the right thing. How do we get around that? Because some people will say, well, yeah, I'm doing something now, but I just feel it's not leading me in the right direction.
Mm,
Um, is it that they need to have that incremental view of their purpose, or are there cases, and this might apply to maybe people anywhere, that people had to do like a complete reversal of what they are doing in order to fulfill their purpose?
mm. Yeah. So purpose, as I've walked through life and as I've matured, I realized that purpose is not one size fits all
Mm.
for everyone. So for some people that may feel stuck, I think that is normal, because sometimes in life, when you want to, when you've outgrown that level, you start feeling, for me, from my personal experience, I start feeling restless.
Mm.
What's the next thing? And that's where our faith comes in as Christians. In all of my walk of life, I don't know how I would have done it without God. And this is something I'm teaching my children as well. You need God, you need guidance in every way. You need to let Him hold your hand every step of the way. You see, some people, they know that they're going to be in the academic line. So they're already working in that area. Maybe for them, purpose is easier because they've discovered it earlier on. For
Okay.
some people, it's not as clear cut, you know, it's one step at a time. And whether you're the one that knows from time that you're going to be a musician, or you're the one that doesn't know, that still need God guidance all of the time, we cannot take away the place of God's guidance in it. So for me, it took God holding my hand. So, like I said, when I realized that, when the thought of having a business, from being an IT professional to having a business, when the thought came to my mind, I was like, oh, I'm not really cut out for that. I don't really know anything about the business that is on my mind to go into. But the more I thought about it, the more it became clearer to me that that's where my purpose lies there. Because at the time, at that time already, I had conquered all within, my IT profession. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, so what's next? I got restless. I felt At that point, I felt a little bit stuck,
Mm,
but I increased my seeking the face of God, saying, God, I want to dip and God gave me a word. He said, dip your foot in the water.
mm,
That means just go into it by faith.
yeah.
You Sometimes in life we just have to give God a project that we know that we can't handle. Is big. It's only
Yes.
him that can fulfill it. And it will take us just trusting him every step of the way.
Wow.
And that's what I had to do from my personal experience. A more recent experience is one of my sons, as
Yeah.
there were so many paths before him. And so at the start of this year, it felt like I just wanted him to fulfill the purpose of God for his life,
Mm,
make that choice earlier on in life.
yeah.
So it may unfold later. It may well be that later, but as a parent, I don't want him to have so many wasted years.
Mm,
Like, oh, if I had done this, so we started praying, agreeing together every single day, saying, God, please just lead him, send all the right people into his life, into across his path, make it clearer. And I can tell you, from the start of this year to right now where we are, it has been clear that God's chosen the path that is now going for him.
mm.
Because as we prayed, things were unfolding. In January, it wasn't quite clear, honestly.
Wow.
But as we went on, little by little, it was like unwrapping. It was unwrapping, it was unwrapping, it was unwrapping. That's why I said sometimes in life, purpose requires flexibility and just trusting God for it.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much. And you've said some really good points. And one of the things you've said is something that I fully agree with. Most times, people in the bid to chase purpose now end up being inactive, not giving excellence to what they are doing. You
Mm.
mentioned, and I know this from the fact that I was privileged to work in the same organization with you many years ago, that there was that excellence in what you were doing. The first step towards determining purpose or being promoted, as you've said, is there is a need for people to be excellent in what they do. Don't start thinking, I need my purpose. This is not my purpose. I need something else. First, be excellent in
Absolutely.
what you do. And you said something which is also interesting. I've never considered it. And I was about to ask that question, haven't been one of those people that attended several sessions. You go to one meeting, they will say, um, um, they will talk about purpose from the beginning to the end and start talking about people who have achieved purpose. They will talk about the Coca-Cola, talk about the
Yeah.
Microsoft, talk about all those people found their purpose. And
Mm.
that's why you are not shining. You've not found your purpose. But at the end of the day, nobody talks about how you will find that purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm often left frustrated. What would be those practical tips? I know you've said one about prayer, making sure people invest time in prayer. I think purpose is one of those things we don't even talk to God about. I think most times we think about it in our heads
Yeah.
and try and figure it out, whereas the proper process is to pray to God continuously. So thank you so much for sharing that. What else can we do? What other practical steps can people begin to take in order to identify their purpose?
You see, sometimes purpose, we may have a different idea of what we think our purpose is. And in reality, our purpose may be something else. So it may just be an idea, the idea of what your purpose is will just drop into your mind, or it could be a case of something little happens and you shift your focus, be like, oh, this has been there all this while and I didn't even think of it. And then we pick it up. So, for example, me, I've been in IT and having excellence in what I was doing then. It's very important to be excellent at whatever age, whatever stage of purpose that we're in, because you don't know who God has placed there to help you to the next level. You just don't know. Even when in all of my years and working experience in the IT field, I cannot deny that I found the favor of God, but what's brought that favor about? The spirit of excellence. I have realized, and with all humility and gratitude to God, I have realized that when the Bible says, "See ye a man diligent in his work, he shall stand before kings and not mere men." You don't have to stand before Queen Elizabeth or King Charles or whoever, but wherever your locality is, you would shine there because you're being excellent. You're not taking it for granted, and you don't know where the next level, if that's the place that God will take you to that next level because of your being diligent and excellent. I have found favor just because of that, where contracts are finished and all of that, and because of being excellent, people have been willing to say, oh, there's something else coming up somewhere else, let's give that to you. So that's one. Another thing is, um in order to have clarity for purpose, we shouldn't, especially as Christians, the still small voice is actually true. When you keep on having that, tugging to say, do that. It's so easy to ignore that voice, and God is not going to force us to do anything. But if you've been praying that God should give you clear direction, watch out for those little things, because it will give you those directions. It may not come in the way that we think it would, but we need to watch out. From my experience, that's what I've seen. It may just be something as little as finish that work on time, bring that deadline back in. Maybe I've given a project a deadline to say I'm going to finish this in a month's time, but I've been praying for guidance. I've been praying for the next step. I've been praying for purpose, fulfillment of purpose. I've been praying for that. And God says, put in a little bit more extra time and bring that project back in. 3 weeks, 2 weeks. You don't know how happy, somebody's, and the favor starts coming. It's not in the direction that I thought, it's in another direction.
Wow.
But then it's giving me a springboard to the next level.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So purpose sometimes doesn't come, guidance to our purpose sometimes doesn't come in the ways that we think it would.
Mm,
But when we've been praying, practically, we need to open our eyes and see the little signs, things that God will drop in our spirit to say, little instructions,
yeah. Yeah.
and then we can take it and move on with it.
Yeah. I'll buttress what you've said there. I did some research. I don't know at times who sends me all this message, all this research I do. And the people who won Nobel Prize in science, which we all know is arguably the highest award in the world in terms of discovery, identifying new things, 90% of them said those discoveries they made dropped into their minds early in the morning. Without them, obviously, they've been looking for the solution, but the thing dropped into their mind early in the morning. And 90% of them said that,
Yeah.
which I agree with what you said. They said, look, we were not thinking, we didn't know the solution. The solution didn't just appear to us. There was just something that dropped in our minds around early hours of the morning.
Yeah.
And that sort of agrees with what you said.
Yeah.
There's a question here. I think I know the answer, but I'll let you answer it. We have Professor Emeritus. So he said, I'm a bit confused because if you're excellent in what you are doing, then that should be one's purpose. If excellence in what we do is not a measure of purpose, then what's the parameter for measurement? Please help me out.
Okay, so because I'm good at what I'm doing doesn't mean that that thing is, makes me feel fulfilled. Whatever I want to do, the Bible says, whatsoever you lay your hands upon shall prosper. The spirit of excellence is upon me anyway. So whatever I do, I will excel at it. But it doesn't mean that I find purpose or fulfillment in it. So I will give you an example. As I said, I am an IT consultant. So I moved from being a consultant into a permanent role, which means I now had a department within there. That title in itself doesn't necessarily mean that is my purpose. I still felt, like I said during our conversation, I felt like there was a point where I felt I needed to do more. There is more that I could do. I still had capacity. That's me still finding purpose. So then I started a business, a childcare business in this country, having a nursery. I believe that is my purpose is in leadership, leading people, mentoring people, because I have seen staff that were at the rock bottom. They don't necessarily, I don't now see them as staff. I see me as that's my field of ministry. Yes, it's a business, but I find purpose in it because I go in, they are free to talk to me. They know that it's a safe place for them. Anything happening, I am personally interested in their personal life. That's me fulfilling purpose. Now, in my role in my IT job, my purpose, away from the job that I do, which of course, I can manage a project, I can deliver a project and all of that. Beyond that lies my purpose of managing the people. Because I've been able to manage and mentor people successfully within the business, I'm able to carry it within my role at my organization. I have developed the patience, the understanding that I needed to lead people. I mean, not all leaders are the same. Some managers have, and you can't fault them for it because that's their personality. But for me, I find fulfillment in being that kind of a leader.
Wow. Okay. No, thank you so much. I believe that answers the question. One of the things that you've also said is that with purpose is incremental. I believe that even from the Bible is always talking about God's ways are above our ways, his thoughts are beyond our thoughts, he's going to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can think or do, which means there is always an incremental purpose, a requirement. We're sharing with someone this week that when Joshua, the Bible said he was old, and God was still saying there's still territories for you to
Always.
to win. So you can be excellent at what you do. You can be making a lot of achievements. And like what she said, your purpose could be being excellent at what you do. And that's where you will get fulfillment and you get everything you need in life. But at times, it's the training to a bigger purpose, is the training to launch you into something different that you may not even have been thinking about.
Mm,
Yeah, so hope that clarifies it. I want to ask a question about purpose because one of the things I was also taught, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it, which is why most people are so focused on I need to find my purpose, is that there's this belief that once you identify your purpose, everything becomes, bread and butter. You just
no.
there is no challenge. You are now operating in your zone. Everything now begins to flow smoothly. Uh,
No.
what's your view on that? That
Wow. I know for a fact that if God showed you what you will go through once you find that purpose, if God showed you the whole picture, you will be like, okay, let me just step back a bit. I don't think I'm ready for it yet. No, it is not the end of it, it is the start of it.
mm,
It is the start of it because as soon as you find that purpose, there is always something more. There is always something bigger that God will be like, okay, I've trusted you with this, you can do this, then you need to do more.
yeah.
There's more that, so there, and with every stage comes its challenges.
Mm,
It is, that is not the end of it at all. Because you found it doesn't mean that everything is just going to be all smooth sailing. There
yeah.
will be challenges
Yeah.
which we need to then conquer. We need to pass that test again, and then we get bigger,
Mm,
and there will be more. So it's not, finding purpose is just the start of it. It's not the end of it at all.
okay. Thank you. And I quite like that purpose is actually God's growth plan for us when we feel stuck in a particular place or when we are even performing very well. Is God sort of like nudging us that you can
Mm,
go higher, you can go
yeah.
higher, you can go higher than this. um Wanted to share with you that how does one distinguish between purpose and distraction? That at times there's a lot of things that we want to do.
Mm,
There's a lot of ideas that comes to our mind. How does one sieve through it all and say, okay, yeah, I would like this. I really like this idea. Uh,
yeah.
But how does one know what to choose?
Mm, right. So that, I think that happened to me as well. As I said, when I got restless and I knew that it was time for me to go into another, get onto the next level,
Mm,
there were quite a few businesses that I wanted to go into, but the one that stuck with me the most, that stuck out the most, was the nursery business. And obviously, there was, in this country, there's a lot of regulations, there's a lot of things to satisfy. And I didn't go into it blindly. I had mentor. My mentor then advised that I needed to do, it's not mandatory to do a qualification for it as the owner, but it's good to know about it.
yeah.
So do the qualification because that will help you to know about it. I was like, okay, but this, I'm working,
Mm,
this will take a while. There is another business idea that I could do that didn't require that. I could just go into it. But I knew within myself, having done my, market survey and everything, we need to put the work in. We need to dissect which one is actually, going to. We can't just say only because, oh, God has told me that I'm able to do all this and that. We don't then prioritize, analyze. There has to be analysis that will go into each of these. We need to spend time. We cannot be lazy if we're
yeah.
going to be, kingdom. God is going to entrust us with all of this and with purpose as well. we need to be analytical about it. So I laid everything out, and I believe you were one of the people that I spoke with. I asked God to lead me to the right people, surround me with the right people, that when I talk to them about these ideas, they will, what they are going to tell me will align with what you have in stock for me. And exactly what my other mentor said was what you said. You said, this idea, I feel like you can always come back to it at any point in time. That one was it was fashion business, because it doesn't require any communication. In other words, what you were trying to tell me was big rocks first. Okay? So in leadership, there's something called big rocks first, and that is, if you have a bucket and you have big rocks, you have stones, you have sand, you have to fill the bucket with the big ones first.
That's
And
true.
then you put the smaller stones in, and then you can fill it up with the sand. So
Mm,
to make the best use of the capacity of that bucket. If you
That's
put all these smaller things and then the bigger ones later, you're not fully using up the spaces.
yeah,
So you said to me, saying, do the one that you need to do qualification for first, get that out of the way, and then start it. Along the line, once that's fully established, you can pick up this other one later.
yeah,
And that completely aligned. So basically, that would have been a distraction for me at that time if I'd picked that one first, because it's smaller,
mm,
and who is to say, and the market is saturated with that
yeah,
at that time.
yeah,
Whereas this bigger that one that I wanted to do
yeah,
requires more effort, more, preparation,
yeah.
but would, in effect, in the longer term, it would yield better.
Better.
Yeah. So it's just, you know in the guidance of many people, many advisors, godly advisors, we should ask for God to surround us with the right people that will help us, that when we seek for their counsel, opinion, they would help us in the right way. And we need to lay it all out and identify. We will be able to break down and analyze
Yeah.
which ones are truly purpose and which one could be a distraction.
Wow. No, thank you so much. That was such a great answer, and there's so much. So, people, please feel free to ask her questions as we're wrapping up, because what tends to happen, some people would have questions and try to wait towards the end, and by the time they are putting it in, the program has ended. So, anyone who has questions, please ask now. You've raised, in fact, I think we'll need to have you back at this program, because each of the things you are raising for me are big, big topics on its own. You raise the fact that there is a need to put the work in. Most times people view purpose as something that would help them avoid what they are doing now, but they are not willing to put the work in order to make it happen. They see all the challenges and forget the opportunity. Some would even want to go into it and want to go without mentors, and they end up spending. I was telling someone, I said, "Look, you don't have time to make mistakes anymore."
Mm,
And a friend of mine too always says it. He says, "Look, pay for the best advice in this
mm,
area, so that you will get what you need within 6 months to 1 year.
that's
Else, you might end up spending the next 5, 10 years trying to learn it. And when you master it, everything has shifted."
that's right.
Those were the advice that people gave, that you need to get a mentor.
Mm,
And I'm sorry to say this, but I'll say it. Your pastor is not your mentor. Look for people who are experienced and skilled in that area.
mm,
There's the part of the Holy Ghost, and there's the part for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and
mhm,
guidance. You need to get off, like she said, you need to get off your comfort seat,
mm,
put the work in, and ensure that because your purpose is sort of like your scorecard. I was just, when you were talking, I was remembering the parable of the talents, where there were some people that had three, some five. The person who had one buried his own,
Mm,
which means at times we can't bury our talent, bury our potential because we are afraid.
mm.
So, just want to ask as well, what gave you the courage to continue? Because, like someone asks, you're already doing excellent in your current profession. You were doing great. You were getting a lot of um, people recommending you. And if you sat still on it for many years, it would have still been something that people would still be envious of in terms of the achievements you've had. What gave you the courage to move on and continue?
Sorry, I missed that last one.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that what gave you
What was coming?
the courage to continue um, and to press on, because you could have been very comfortable where you are. You are comfortable where you are, but you now took on a challenge. And with that challenge, you knew it could.
So, what gave me the courage was, I think it was just God telling me within my mind. My spirit was just telling me I can do more. So, being at a capacity of 100, but I was operating at 50%. I
Mm,
was operating excellently at 50%, but I knew I still had capacity.
mm,
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking, okay, you have Richard Branson, he founded Virgin. He could have stopped at Virgin Atlantic,
yeah.
but it didn't stop there. He went on to find so many other companies like that. Um, and he's doing very well. So why do I want to just achieve one thing and stop at it when I still have capacity to do more? I have
Mm,
capacity. That was what was motivating me. You
wow.
know, so first of all, um, I did my master's because I felt, as I said, when it's time for me to get to the next stage, I start feeling restless. I started feeling restless. I just knew that I wanted to stretch myself. There's still more there. There is more there. We always have capacity. I have more capacity. I did my master's, finished that, worked with it, did a few professional exams. I have capacity. Just because I'm doing well doesn't mean that I can do more. And that's
Mm,
what kept on motivating. At the right, when I need to get to the next stage, I will just feeling within my spirit, you have capacity, take it on, stretch,
wow.
enlarge.
Wow.
If I'm praying for enlargement, I want, these days, the gospel can be preached in so many ways. People can know that you are a professional, you are a Christian. I don't have to be carrying the Bible up and down in my work, but my work ethics will show it
Yeah.
that I'm a Christian and people will respect me for it.
Yeah.
And by what I'm doing, I'm literally preaching with my actions.
Yeah.
God needs people in the workplace. Why do I want to be restless? But why do I want to be contented with that?
Mm,
Not only workplace, it needs to be represented
yeah.
in the marketplace as well.
Yeah.
And that was pressed so much in my heart. I was restless
Wow.
until I made that move.
Wow.
Until I made that move. He's saying, I've given you capacity, like the talent. You've got 5 talents. You've used 2 of it.
Mm,
What are you going to do with the remaining 3?
wow. 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 Thank you so much. This is so deep. There are some comments here. Professor Emeritus said, very insightful session. Thanks. Thank you so much. And thanks for asking the questions to clarify as well. We have Sister Alice as well saying, thank you for these topics. A special shout out to Auntie Kemi for sharing with us tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no, thank you so much. This is really powerful. We need to bring you back because there's a lot of I just sense that there's a lot of things that people I've learned from this session. And there are a lot of things that people, okay, there's another comment saying it's very interesting and insightful. Well done, ma. I think we need to dive into some of these things, even some of these pillars, because there are some things that people don't know. Um, there are some, I know someone I was speaking to recently, he wanted to make a decision about what to do. And he kept delaying that, pretty much like myself.
Mm,
For many years, he delayed that decision until the economy has taken that decision away from his hands
mm,
now.
mm,
And
mm,
what he's doing to survive is completely different from what he should have been operating in.
mm,
He had the opportunity to set up some institutes at that
mm,
time. The
mm,
door was open. He had the skills, he had the connections. He kept holding back
mm,
until now it's too late.
mm,
Um, the job he's doing, he doesn't like it.
mm,
Even I don't like it, but we know God would, open the door for him. And I
mm,
told him as well that take even the job you're doing as something you need to be excellent in,
mm.
then build back up. Um, just to encourage everyone, and I'll let you have sort of like share your final thoughts and encouragement to anyone who is afraid of taking that step, or some people who have taken steps in the past and it's not worked out the way they want, which has now made them sort of afraid to take
Mm,
any step in the future.
mm,
Like what she said, that you have more within you. Don't bury it, use it, and you will be so surprised how much God will bless you and use you to bless people. So I would get your final thoughts and
yeah.
advice or encouragement for people who are either afraid to take that step. Like you said, some people may have an idea, but they are thinking, how will I achieve it? There are already many people doing this, or there are already
Mm,
people who are quite big in this. Who am
mm,
I, very small, to now start doing something without the resources?
mm.
What would be your advice as well as your sort of like closing thoughts?
You know what? Just be like Nike.
Mhm.
Just do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter if there are many people already in that field. Just do it. I
Mm,
mean, I will go back to Richard Branson of Virgin Atlantic.
mm.
There was already BA, British Airways, flying from Nigeria to Lagos when it started Virgin Atlantic.
That's true.
But it started, it's still operating today.
That's
So
true.
I will tell you, when we started at the nursery business, one of the parents told me, said, "Oh, Kemi, so you've got another nursery down the road, you've got another one up there. Are you sure you're gonna be okay?" I said, "Well, you know what?" I said, "If you go to the town center, you've got Sainsbury's there, you've got Morrison's there. They both have their customers.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. You
Mm,
will be fine." And
mm,
today we're there, we're fine, we're flourishing. I
mm,
mean, I'm not going to say you're not going to have challenges. You will have challenges, but you need to roll up your sleeves and know that you will be fine because God's got your back.
amen.
God will not send you there and leave you.
Mm,
He's going to be there with you. If there's anybody that shouldn't even be doing business, go into any sort of business, it should be me. My father had failed businesses,
mm,
and that scared me so much. I
mm,
said, let me just stay in the comfort zone of, just be an employee.
mm.
That put that fear into me.
Wow.
I never thought I would ever own it. Maybe that's why it took me so long. I
Mm,
was calculating and calculating, but at some point I was like, I'm going to do it because what's the worst that can happen?
wow.
You
Wow.
know? So, and me realizing that I've got God, I
Mm,
have got God is backing me up. The
yeah,
whole host of heaven, they are backing me up on this. I'm not here on my own.
that's true.
Yes. So
Wow.
just do it. The fear will be there. We all have different backgrounds. We have things that, as I said, I have my own background. And that's why I've had this business idea for the past 20 years, but I did not execute it until about 15 years later.
Wow.
That was when I executed it. And I felt like maybe I was coming late into it, but I still did it. And
Mm.
I tell you what, at that time when the prompting was so heavy on me, I knew I had to take action. That was when COVID struck.
Hmm.
And everything just went downhill with,
Very fast.
with IT, with everything like that. But thank God I took that step there.
Mm. Wow.
Thank God I took that step there because it
Wow.
changed a whole lot of things for me.
Wow.
You can do it. You can just do it, do your analysis, the fear will always be there. We can't take that away because we don't know. It's an unknown.
Yes.
It will always be an unknown. Just do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this also applies to me and everyone listening. It's time to just do it. Stop hiding. It's time to bring it out and begin to do it. And if you've been blessed, please share with us. Tell us what you have started and decided to do. And if anyone wants us to bring her back, let us know as well, either during the week as we're wrapping down now. But I definitely, if she's available, I know she's very busy. Would want her to come back and share more. I've been blessed. Thank you so much for blessing us, and thank you so much for sharing these valuable insights to us. So thank you very much, and thank you everyone. Have a wonderful week. And remember, stop hiding. You just have to do it. And God bless you all.
Thank you all. Thanks for having me.
Okay. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
And you will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. It's a simple chorus. You will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. Help me sing. You will never, 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 never. You are the Lord. Let your name be glorified. Oh, you will never, 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 never.
rises. The Carpenters Movement, where faith meets wisdom, love restores the broken, and every heart finds home. A fresh wind in the church, love, unity, renewal, and inclusion.